The administration is redoubling efforts to get a new North American trade agreement ratified by Congress. It would replace the much-maligned NAFTA deal. President Trump blaming House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for holding up the USMCA.
I have pretty good authority on it, that she's using USMCA because she doesn't have the impeachment votes. So she's using USMCA to get the impeachment vote.
Pelosi spokesperson responding, quote, as the president well knows, the speaker has been working diligently with his trade representative to advance Democrats further down a path to yes on the USMCA. The president's desperate attacks aside, this issue is totally separate from the ongoing impeachment inquiry. Democrats are pushing for stronger enforcement of environmental and labor standards in order to get them to sign on. Well, today's marathon impeachment hearings ending just a short time ago. On the same day, the DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz warns the FBI has, quote, numerous issues when it comes to vetting and using secret sources. Here to weigh in on both top stories, former Deputy Assistant Attorneys General Harry Litman and John Yoo. Good to see both of you tonight.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Shannon.
Okay, I want to get to both of these, but let's start with Trace's report. The Wall Street Journal also talking about this new report out from Horowitz as we wait for the real report everybody is waiting for from Horowitz, saying this. Tuesday's report found, quote, significant weaknesses in the confidential human sources program and said the FBI had not followed guidelines on the scrutiny, validation, and allocation of sources. John, do you read anything into the timing of this, or should we consider it totally separate from what we may get from Horowitz and Durham on the investigation into the investigators?
You could see the timing as being relevant here. You could see Horowitz saying, let's clear the decks, get these other corollary matters out of the way so that we can, months ago, work and concentrate on the FISA report. But also they're interlinked in this respect. Part of the FISA inquiry is going to focus on why did the FBI place a lot of credibility in certain confidential informants, most notably Christopher Steele, also a fellow named Halper, and give so much credence to them that they went to a FISA court to get a surveillance warrant on an ongoing presidential campaign by a major party. You could see that the fault might have been that while Jim Comey, Andrew McCabe were so excited to get their teeth into these big cases investigating a president, so when they weren't taking care of the basic bread and butter, everyday business of the FBI, which is to make sure that they are getting reliable, authentic information from our informants. And so I end by looking at this report by thinking it's a good thing President Trump removed Comey and McCabe and his team from office, because they weren't doing the basic job of the FBI because they were so fascinated with investigating the Clinton campaign and then the Trump campaign.
All right, and Harry, quick comment from you before we move to impeachment. I mean, the FBI acknowledging in response to this report, yeah, we've got some work to do on how we vet and use secret sources.
Which happens all the time with IG reports. It's really a dog bites man story. There is no indication at all, quite the contrary, that it has anything to do with these special high-level matters that John mentions. It's really about the rank and file and their regular use. So it would be very both improper and surprising if somehow this was supposed to be a kind of covert, first strike about the investigator report coming up.
Okay, now to the impeachment hearings today. It depends on where you're coming from, where you sit watching this thing, maybe how you reacted to it. Sean Davis, co-founder of The Federalist, says this in a tweet. That hearing with Vindman, who's clearly the intelligence community's patient zero in the latest iteration of Democrats' anti-Trump coup theater, could not have gone more poorly for Democrats. His testimony was a disaster for impeachment efforts. Robert Reich, the former Secretary of Labor under President Clinton, said this. Take away from today's Vindman testimony, Vindman's a hero. Trump is guilty, impeached by Thanksgiving. I mean, John, is anyone being persuaded, or is this all about where you came into this hearing and what you think about how it's playing out? Depends on where you started from.
I agree with that. The polls seem to suggest that people's views are not changing because of the hearings. And I don't think actually the hearings are changing the basic facts of the story. And I think this is partially because of Congressman Schiff's choice to leak a lot of the testimony that was taken behind closed doors earlier. And so we're not really learning anything new. The facts seem to be the same. The phone call on July 25th with the president of Ukraine and President Trump hasn't really changed in terms of the details. And most important, the hearings are going to end soon, and you're not going to have had testimony from people who really talked to President Trump directly. This is all secondhand information. And so the big problem that the hearings have that we really need to find out is, do these facts rise to the level of an offense which is worth removing the President of the United States from his office within a year of an election. So far, I haven't seen the Democrats present compelling reasons why the answer to that question should be yes.
When here you saw Julian Turner's reporting when this afternoon's witnesses were asked point blank, did you see evidence of bribery? Did you see evidence of treason? Did you see evidence of quid pro quo? They said no to all of those. So where do Democrats go from here? I mean, we have Sondland tomorrow, and everybody on both sides of the fence is watching this one.
Yeah, he's in real trouble and may have to take the fifth. But that's a totally misleading sort of snippet. These guys aren't there for their legal characterization. They and everybody else now, everybody. John's right. There's no dispute about the facts. The facts are it was conditioned, the release of the aid, on the announcement of an investigation. That's plainly a quid pro quo.
But that never happened, Harry. We've talked about that.
If
that was the condition, the investigations and the announcements never happened, and the aid was released.
Exactly, because of the whistleblower report. In fact, it was being all prepared to go on CNN. As far as bribery or the president's conduct, that's immaterial. In fact, they were outed and they had to stop. Every witness, Shannon, every witness says, A, he did it, and B, it was inappropriate. So when John says there's nothing new, the facts are established, and the question is impeachability.
Well, if you mean by did it, you mean the phone call. Because they've all said
no.
They haven't said quid pro quo. They were asked point blank and said no.
Shannon, they're not lawyers. Everyone
Tim Morrison's a lawyer. He testified this afternoon.
Everyone said the aid was conditioned on that. And by the way, this isn't the Democrats who have been stressing this. It's the Republicans. The Democrats are stressing the facts. Everyone says the aid was conditioned on an announcement of investigation by the Bidens. What do you call that?
Well, that's not what I heard in the testimony today. I think there have been some differing characterizations of that. But again, I think Sondland's going to be a big one tomorrow, and we will continue to debate this because we're all three of us going to be watching that. And many millions more.
See you soon.
Thank you, guys.